Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Our Stressless Home podcast. I'm so glad that you came back for part 2 of our discussion about Martha and Mary and their brief interaction with Jesus in Luke 10. We talked last episode about verses 38 through 41, and today we'll talk about verse 42 and how to have both Martha's hands and Mary's heart. But before we dive into verse 42, I want to reread these scriptures for you because they're so short and I want you to have an overall view. If you haven't listened to part 1 of this podcast, I highly suggest that you go back and listen to it before listening to part 2. So here are the scriptures. They're in Luke 10, verses 38 through 42. And it says, "Now it came to pass, as they went, that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her." Today, I want to be talking specifically about verse 42. And let me reread it. "But one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her." I love that Jesus says that there is only one thing that is needful. All other things are good and encouraged. When there is order, the spirit can thrive, but only one thing is needful. One definition of needful is necessary for a purpose. I believe Jesus is trying to show us that the desire to have a clean and ordered home is wonderful, even godlike, but there is a deeper purpose that is necessary. The thing that is needful is to listen to Jesus's teachings and to follow him. So we can learn a few things from Mary in this moment. The first thing is that Mary chose to listen and to learn. There were a lot of choices placed before her, but she chose to stop and to listen. There is a time to attend to the house. There is a time to serve like Martha, and there is a time to stop, rest, listen, learn, and connect. The second thing is that Mary chose something that was both needful and good. Jesus does not say that she chose the better part, just that it was the good part. There are a lot of good options placed before her, but she chose the good part. A house or temporal things could be taken away. In fact, any mother knows that the service that we render in the home can be torn to shreds in moments, taken away by the busy hands of a little toddler or the rowdiness of our kids and their friends. It's good to tend to the home, but what is needful? The things that cannot be taken away. Connection with those that you love, learning, knowledge, deep and meaningful connections. Those are the things that cannot be taken from us. That's a good treasure where moth and rust cannot corrupt and thieves cannot steal. So you may already have an idea if you tend to lean more towards a Martha personality or a Mary personality. But for fun, let's break down the differences between Martha and Mary and what they were concerned about. So I want you to imagine that we have kind of two columns side by side. On the first column, we have Martha, and she is worried about things that are temporal, tasks, serving, working, creating something, creating an experience. She's worried about giving. On the other side, we have Mary, who is concerned about the spiritual, people and relationships, sitting, worshiping, experiencing, and receiving. So if you imagine reading these two side by side, we have temporal versus spiritual. We have tasks versus people and relationships. We have service or sitting. We have working or worshiping. We have creating or experiencing, giving or receiving. These are almost complete opposites of each other. And to be honest, one probably comes more naturally to you than the other. You may be a person who it's more comfortable to receive something than it is to give something, or somebody where it's easier to work than to worship, or to serve than to sit. I love if you have a moment to take a piece of paper and a pencil and to write these two lists side by side and to look at these lists. I believe that all of these things are needful for a healthy and a joyful life. We cannot just be one or the other, but one likely comes more naturally to you than the other, and that's okay. That can be a gift and a superpower. But any strength, when taken to the extreme, can become a weakness. So, whichever way you lean is wonderful. It is good, and God can use that. But you may also need to be able to develop some traits on the other side of the list and to know how to switch in between the two. We need to learn to balance being both Martha and Mary. We need to learn that there is a time to serve and a time to sit, a time to complete tasks and a time to connect with people. We focus on creating an experience for someone, but we never get around to experiencing it ourselves. We need to find the balance between working and worshiping. If you are always in Martha mode, if you are cumbered about by the many things and never switch into Mary mode, you are missing that good part, that part that cannot be taken away, that part that truly makes life rich. If you are solely focused on tasks, to-do lists, and working, you're missing the spiritual, the people, the relationships, sitting, worshiping. Martha needs to understand that she's valued not for what she does or how well she does it, but for who she is as a daughter of God. Her value is fixed and does not change, no matter how many things she does or doesn't check off a to-do list. So I'm going to slow down for a second and talk to you Marthas out there. I often find myself playing the role of a Martha. My little perfectionist, type A, overworking, overachiever heart and mind tells me to run and run and run in circles and to get everything finished. Take on more, do more, be more, learn more, practice more. That I'll snuggle more once dishes are done. I will eat once everyone else is fed. I'll do bedtime reading, but only one because the messy table is calling my name. I'll go on a walk once the whole house has been vacuumed, on and on and on. My list gets longer and the moments I have to be present with those I love get shorter. This will be a story for another day, but it took me almost dying of sepsis and heart failure at 32 after the birth of my third daughter when I was actually forced to stop. I physically couldn't do what I used to do. That was my wake-up call. My moment where I asked myself, if it had all ended right now, if I had died, would my kids remember Mom's snuggle? Would they remember bedtime and reading books? Would they remember me laughing or holding hands or cooking together? Or would they remember that Mom yelled a lot because the house was a mess? Those questions haunted me, and those moments broke me. I'm not sure they would have remembered tenderness and connection from me, and I wanted them to. Even if my girls didn't have any memories of me at all because they were too young, I didn't have those memories. I don't remember slowing. I don't remember stopping to hold my babies or to sing to them. I just remember rushing, running, and raging when I got overwhelmed. I almost missed it, that good part. The part that I couldn't see because my list wasn't quite empty just yet. The parts I missed because I didn't know how to switch to Mary mode or didn't believe that I was allowed to without good enough cause. So I'm giving you other Marthas out there permission. I'm possibly even pleading with you. Please stop. Please connect. Please slow down. Please be more present in your life, even when your to-do list isn't finished. There are moments to be present for, and there are memories to be made. Connection with your family, connection with your kids, connection with your spouse, connection with Jesus, and connection with God. You need to take space for a bit of Mary in your life. And that is one thing that is needful. I am so grateful for the example of the amazing traits of both of these women. And I don't necessarily believe that one is better than the other, but you may need to start to practice and to learn how to switch between the two. I love the poem found in a book called What a Friend We Have in Jesus by Chieko Okazaki. Chieko includes a poem written by Lonnie Severinsen called My Hands Are Those. It says, my hands are those of Martha, with serving cumbered about. Home duties continue to keep me so busy my time just runs out. Oh no, I don't belittle these tasks, that's very true, for motherhood's important, as is each thing I must do. Still, I long to know the Master, to study the words he spake, that I might grow in wisdom and better decisions make. But consumed by physical troubles, as pressures abound and build, my spirit self becomes empty, though my every moment filled. At these times I desire, as Mary, to choose the good part, though my hands are the hands of Martha. I am Mary in my heart. If you find that you have the hands of Martha, constantly working, constantly doing, but you long to also have time with Jesus, now is the time to try to channel and switch over to Mary's heart. Schedule time to be in the temple. Schedule time to slow down, to be alone, to study scripture, to say prayers. I know that it's not easy when you feel like you're running a million miles an hour, but I'm guessing that there are likely things on your to-do list that could fall off so that you could switch into Mary mode more often. So here's my challenge to you. Whether you're more naturally a Martha, maybe look at that Mary list and see if there's anything that stands out more to you that you might want to focus on. And if you're naturally a Mary, look at the Martha list and see if there's anything that stands out to you. But before you start thinking in your head, there's a million things now that I need to do to become a Mary or to become more of a Martha, I want you to take it to the Lord. I want you to spend time with him and ask him, am I more naturally a Mary or a Martha? What is needful for me right now in this moment? Because I can sit here and I can tell you all of the different ways that you could become Mary, or you could become Martha, or you could fill in different gaps. But truly, Heavenly Father knows where you are at. He knows your capacity. He knows your situation. He knows your circumstances. And he would be the better person to consult with on what is needful for you right now. And it's okay for different seasons to require different things of you. So maybe spend some time with him, asking him what is needful for you in this moment. I know that he will answer. He will let you know which things should go to the top of your list, which things are most important, which things you have the capacity to focus on right now. And if you are feeling a little extra weak or not sure you have the capacity, pray for it. Allow him to walk with you and to be with you as you strive to connect with him and to connect with others and to still serve and be kind and uplift. I know that it matters to him, and I know that you matter to him, and the things that matter to you matter to him. So please involve him in that process. That's it for today's episode of Our Stressless Home. I am so glad that you are here. Keep choosing presence over perfection, and I'll meet you back here next time.